Live on a live stream interview, the host asked me, if you weren't in the entertainment industry, what would you do? I answered offhandedly, go home and inherit $1 billion fortune. The moment those words left my mouth, I shot straight to the trending charts. The entire internet mocked me, a D-list nobody, for daring to clout-chase the richest Wang family. They said that male star Makoto was the real hidden rich second-generation heir of the Wang family. Even the newly crowned best actress, my girlfriend, Willow, threw herself into Makoto's arms, laughing at my wild delusions. But who would have thought that not long after I terminated my contract, the film and television giant Wang Group suddenly announced the withdrawal of resources from both of them, and Makoto was completely blacklisted across the internet. Only then did netizens finally realize something was off. Chapter 1. Live stream interview. Makoto and I appeared on the show together because of a TV drama we had acted in. We debuted in the same year. After 5 years in the entertainment industry, I was still an unremarkable D-list nobody, while Makoto had long since become a top-tier superstar. During the interview, almost all of the host's questions revolved around Makoto. I sat beside him like a piece of background decoration. But after all these years, I was used to it. The bullet comments were also filled with Makoto's fan support. On the rare occasions my name appeared, it was always to mock me. Debuted at the same time, yet worlds apart. How does David even have the nerve to be on the same show as Makoto? Doesn't he feel ashamed? I heard David once had rumors with best actress Willow. This is hilarious. How could Willow ever be with David? Obviously David was trying to fake a ship with our best actress. Willow and Makoto are the real perfect match. A perfect match. Looking at the bullet comments in the live stream room, I couldn't help but sneer inwardly. Back then, Willow and I had dated. But after Willow collaborated with Makoto on a TV drama, I got cheated on. From beginning to end, Willow never once acknowledged our relationship. Even now, people often dig it back up just to ridicule me, saying that I simped for Willow and she didn't even want me. The host asked Makoto, if you retired from the entertainment industry, what would you do? Go back to family life. Makoto hesitated for a moment before answering with a faint smile. The bullet comments instantly went wild. Are Makoto and Willow about to announce something? I heard both families have already met the parents. The bullet comments are saying that you and Willow might have good news coming soon. The host teased. No, everyone's misunderstood. Makoto quickly clarified. Although Willow and I are very stable right now, work still comes first. If there really is any good news in the future, Willow and I will be the first to inform everyone. The host followed up smoothly. Then why do you have the idea of returning to family life? Because I've always wanted a home. I don't want to sacrifice family happiness for my career. So if one day I really do retire, I'll focus on accompanying my wife and children. The bullet comments flooded with praise. Makoto's values are so upright. Whoever marries him will be so blessed. Makoto comes from a wealthy family. The education he received growing up is naturally different from ordinary people. I'm confused. Does Makoto's family background really that good? Just search the Wang family of Orange City online. They may not be the richest in Orange City, but they're definitely top 3 on the wealth rankings. I frowned. Since when did the Wang family of Orange City have anything to do with Makoto? At that moment, the host suddenly turned to me and asked, David, if you retired from the entertainment industry, what would you do? Probably because he felt a bit guilty for ignoring me the whole time. I thought about it, then answered very seriously, go home and inherit $1 billion fortune. Chapter 2. What? The host thought he had misheard. He repeated the question to me. I just asked what you'd want to do after leaving the industry. Go home and inherit the family business, I said calmly. The 5-year deadline had already arrived. Back when I insisted on entering the entertainment industry, I made a 3-point agreement with my family. If I showed no progress in 5 years, I would have to go home and take over the family business. Just a few days ago, my tycoon father had even called to remind me. May I ask rather abruptly, what exactly does your family do that requires you to go back and inherit it? The host asked with a laugh, his tone laced with mockery. Makoto sat beside me, and a trace of ridicule flashed across his eyes, though it vanished in an instant. After all, this was a live stream in front of countless viewers. Makoto still needed to maintain his public persona, so he naturally wouldn't show his true emotions. A bit of everything. Really, mainly commercial investments, I replied. It was true, there were simply too many fields involved to explain clearly, so I kept it vague, but in other people's eyes, it just sounded like I was dodging the question or lying. At that moment, the bullet comments went crazy again. Is David sick in the head? He has to compete with Makoto in everything. Someone just said Makoto comes from a wealthy family, and now David suddenly claims he's going home to inherit $1 billion fortune. You don't joke like that. He just can't stand that Makoto is better than him at everything, can he? If he really has $1 billion fortune, I'll live stream myself eating shit. So disgusting. He can't compete with Makoto. So now he's resorting to fraud and bluffing, saying his family has billions. Hilarious. Who would believe that? Reading the bullet comments, I started to feel angry. I wanted to explain. The host cut in immediately. David has a great sense of humor and is really livening up our live stream. Fans don't need to take it too seriously. On the surface, he sounded like he was helping me out. In reality, he clearly didn't believe a word I said, and he slapped me in the face in front of everyone. What I said is true, I said helplessly. Next is a question that Makoto's fans especially wanted me to ask. The host didn't give me a chance to continue. They're very curious. Your physique is so good. How do you usually train? Makoto answered the host's questions one by one, the atmosphere between them extremely harmonious, and for the remaining nearly half-hour interview, I didn't get to say a single word. The live stream ended. Everyone walked out of the studio. Makoto's manager and assistants were all waiting for him, along with Willow. She held an enormous bouquet of roses and presented it to Makoto in front of all the staff. The sweetness between the two of them was enough to make anyone jealous. I left coldly, passing by them without a glance. For a D-list nobody like me, of course no one was waiting. But my sister had just called to say she was coming to pick me up. Traffic was a bit heavy. Fully disguised, I stood at the entrance waiting for her. David, you really don't need to compare yourself with Makoto in everything. Behind me, a familiar voice suddenly rang out. I turned around and looked at Willow, the same woman who had just been embracing Makoto so affectionately. Chapter 3. Willow and I were from the same agency. She debuted 2 years earlier than I did. When I first met her, she was also a D-list nobody, with barely any work to her name. The moment I joined the company, Willow told me she'd fallen in love with me at first sight. At the beginning, I refused. It had taken a lot of effort to persuade my family to let me enter the entertainment industry. I didn't want a relationship to affect my career, but in the end, I couldn't withstand Willow's gentleness and sweetness, and I agreed to date her. However, the company didn't allow artists, especially newcomers, to date, so we could only carry on an underground relationship. During our secret relationship, Willow's acting career took off at an astonishing pace. What she didn't know was that most of her opportunities were secured through my family's connections. Especially the movie that made her explode in popularity. My father directly became an investor just to ensure she got the female lead role. Yet who would have thought that after she became famous, she officially announced a relationship with Makoto, the male lead of that film. At first, she lied to me, saying it was just hype for publicity. It wasn't until paparazzi caught her spending the night at Makoto's place that she finally came clean, claiming she'd hidden it because she was afraid I'd be too heartbroken to handle it. I knew perfectly well that she was just worried I'd expose our relationship in anger. She had always maintained a single persona, and after finally becoming popular, she was afraid her image would collapse and ruin her career. Although my main purpose for entering the entertainment industry wasn't fame, but to understand the market better for future investment projects. Sooner or later, I would return home to inherit the family business. So as an artist, I never had particularly grand ambitions. But that didn't mean I was supposed to be a sucker, unconditionally accepting Willow's betrayal. I had even kept quiet about everything I'd secretly done for her, just so she wouldn't feel burdened. In the end, though, I chose to let it go. Life is long, who can guarantee they won't run into 1 or 2 trashy women? I treated it as curing my love brain. More importantly, I still plan to do business in the entertainment industry in the future. Harmony brings wealth, and I didn't want to make enemies. So after being cheated on, Willow and I broke up peacefully. After the breakup, there was no contact or intersection between us at all. Even though Willow's fans frequently mocked me for simping after her, I never responded. Until today, when Willow took the initiative to speak to me, I looked at her coldly. From the day we broke up, this person had become completely meaningless in my life. I know you've always felt uncomfortable about me being with Makoto, so you keep comparing yourself to him everywhere, Willow said helplessly. But someone like Makoto was born with a golden spoon in his mouth. Looking at the entire entertainment industry, who can compare to him, especially someone like you, who has nothing at all? I actually laughed in anger. Makoto born with a golden spoon, me having nothing at all. She clearly didn't know how many shady, under-the-table tricks Makoto had used just to secure a single role. Nor did she know that if my family's assets came crashing down on them, they could crush the cheating couple into a pile of mush. With an expression of false concern, Willow said, "Don't blame me for speaking harshly. We were lovers once. I just don't want you to embarrass yourself too badly. You should know how ugly the mockery from the outside world is right now. Sure, notoriety is still fame, but you still need to have some self-respect as a person." I laughed coldly and shot back. "You still know people need self-respect. Then when you cheated, why didn't you think about picking yours back up?" Chapter 4. Willow's expression changed instantly. Humiliated and furious, she snapped, "David, do you have any idea how busy I am right now? Do you know how packed my schedule is? I'm saying all this for your own good. Do you really think I have nothing better to do than waste my time on you? Then get lost. I shot back coldly. The farther, the better, and don't ever show up in front of me again. You're an eyesore. There was no need to be polite to a cheating woman like her. You still don't have even a shred of self-awareness. She sneered. Look at the state you're in right now. I took the initiative to care about you, and instead of being grateful, you act all high and mighty. I was even thinking that, given my current status in the industry and out of old feelings, I could introduce some resources to you. Since you're so ungrateful, forget it. Willow lifted her chin, full of arrogance. I let out a cold laugh, as if I cared. If I wanted resources or wanted to pull strings, did I really need her help? I couldn't be bothered to deal with Willow anymore. At that moment, my sister had already arrived in her Bugatti to pick me up. I was about to walk straight past Willow. David. Willow suddenly stepped in front of me. Being ignored like this clearly made her fury boil over. No wonder after 5 years you've made zero progress in the entertainment industry, Willow said angrily. Someone like you, with no ambition at all, will never make it anywhere. Forget the entertainment industry. You'll fail no matter where you go. I'm honestly so glad I chose Makoto instead of wasting my time on someone like you. Willow, don't talk so confidently, I mocked coldly. It's very easy to get slapped in the face later. But you're right about one thing. I'm really glad I didn't waste too much time on you. You. Willow was so angry she nearly choked. Then she said viciously, David, I'll be blunt. I'm about to take on an S-tier TV drama. Seeing how badly you're doing, I originally wanted to give you a hand, introduce you to the director and let you play the third male supporting role. Heh. I laughed coldly, full of disdain. I'm really not interested. Willow still wanted to say something, but I had truly run out of patience. Move aside. Decent people don't block the road, I said, glaring at her. Willow was grinding her teeth in anger, yet she still didn't move. Psychologically, she probably couldn't accept that I was treating her with such indifference. She likely thought that now that she was doing so well in the industry, I should still be simping for her. Just like back when we broke up, she always thought I'd cling to her relentlessly. She never expected me to be even more decisive than she was. At the moment of our standoff, Willow was suddenly shoved hard from behind. The movement was rough. She nearly face-planted on the ground. She turned around furiously to glare at the person who had pushed her. My sister didn't even look at her. She only asked me, "Who's that?" "A stray dog," I replied. "David," Willow shouted angrily. "Warning you, stay away from David, or I'll end you," my sister said coldly as she stood beside me. Willow glared viciously at both of us. At that moment, she also noticed the two burly bodyguards standing behind my sister and didn't dare say another word. Besides, as a public figure, she didn't dare cause a scene. All she could do was watch, confused and furious, as my sister and I got into the black Bugatti and drove away. Chapter 5. Sitting in the car. Willow sent me messages again. We'd broken up cleanly back then, so it never escalated to the point of blocking each other's contact information. David, I really didn't expect you to end up living off a woman. I even felt guilty about you and kept worrying all this time. Turns out I was just being sentimental for nothing. Even through the screen, I could practically smell the sour stench of Willow's jealousy. I didn't respond. I was busy talking with my sister about my retirement from the entertainment industry, but Willow refused to let it go. Message notifications kept coming, her tone growing more and more vicious. "I never thought you'd fall this low. Don't you think what you're doing is pathetic? Yuri not even remotely comparable to Makoto. No matter how bad things get for him, he'd never do something like this. UVE completely shattered every image I ever had of you. I always thought you were aloof and principled. Guess I overestimated you. The constant buzzing annoyed me. Unable to stand it anymore, I replied. If you're not afraid of me sending our chat history to the media, then shut up. That single sentence immediately shut Willow up. I let out a cold laugh. The irony was real. To Willow, her career mattered more than anything. Choosing Makoto back then was probably just vanity and opportunism. Of course, I'd never had any expectations of her anyway. I'd long since seen clearly what kind of person she was. After dealing with Willow, I received a call from my manager. He asked coldly, "Where are you?" "On my way home." "What nonsense did you spout during today's livestream interview? Who do you think you are, comparing yourself to Makoto?" he snapped, laying into me. "Do you know you've already been cursed onto the trending charts? I told you ages ago, our company doesn't need artists who get famous through notoriety. You keep courting disaster like this. Are you trying to make the company give up on you completely?" "Then give up," I said flatly. I'd already planned to terminate my contract anyway. Besides, the company had never really supported me to begin with. "What? Are you threatening me now?" My manager's voice rose sharply. "Why did I even sign you back then? If I'd signed Makoto instead, I'd have made a fortune by now," I mocked him. "So whose fault is that?" "Yours, for being blind." "Enough, David. I don't want to argue with you. he said impatiently. Get back here right now and record an apology video. Tell the public you were just joking earlier to liven up the live stream. I wasn't joking, I said slowly, word by word. So what, you're saying your family really has a mine? He sneered. If your family's that rich, why haven't they spent money to promote you? If your family's loaded, how did you end up in such a miserable state all these years? If I ended up like this, as my manager, shouldn't you be reflecting on yourself? I shot back. You, the manager faltered, clearly guilty. I'm done arguing. Come back and record the video. I won't, I replied. David, have you lost your mind? You dare refuse the company's arrangements? Believe it or not, we'll shelve you immediately, I said coldly. No need to go through all that trouble. Just terminate the contract. Terminate? You think you can just terminate whenever you want? You still have more than half a year left on your contract. Can you afford the penalty for early termination? That's none of your concern, I said bluntly. I'll come to the company tomorrow. Then I hung up and turned off my phone. My sister watched everything I did and laughed. So you finally decided the entertainment industry is boring? I thought it was boring a long time ago. I only stayed longer to study the market. Want me to go with you tomorrow to terminate the contract? No need. As expected of someone from our family, naturally domineering, my sister praised. Chapter 6. The next morning, I went to the talent agency. The news about me saying I was going to inherit a billion-dollar fortune during yesterday's live stream interview was still hanging at number 1 on the trending charts. The comments below were unanimously cursing me for being shameless. Even my very few fans had turned against me, saying they didn't support a liar. I didn't really care. I was leaving the industry anyway. When I arrived at the company, aside from my manager waiting with a frosty expression, Willow was there as well. She looked at me with a half-smile. It was obvious she'd come specifically to enjoy my humiliation. Typical, getting cocky the moment she tasted success. So the young Master Wang finally deigns to come to the company in person, the manager said sarcastically, the moment he spoke. Other staff members and a few artists nearby couldn't help laughing out loud. I'm here to terminate my contract, I said indifferently, my expression cold, unhurried. The manager took out my contract. Sure, according to the contract, if an artist terminates early, they must pay the agency a penalty of 30 million. I frowned slightly, not because I was shocked by the number, but because I clearly remembered that it didn't require that much. As a qualified businessman, how could I swallow a loss like this? I casually picked up the contract and started reading it. Seeing this, the manager began to sneer. What? Isn't your family supposedly worth billions? Don't tell me you can't even come up with a measly 30 million. But honestly, David, you've been in the industry for 5 years. Have you even earned 30 million? You probably haven't even made 3 million. He was convinced I couldn't pay it. He kept rambling on. Stop pretending to be tough. There are still 10 months left on your contract. If you behave and listen, the company might even renew you. Otherwise, with your current commercial value, no agency would ever sign you. Bang. I slammed the contract down in front of him. The manager jumped in fright, staring at me in shock. He shouted nervously, "What the hell is wrong with you? It clearly states here," I said coldly, "that if there's less than 1 year left on the contract, the penalty is only 60%. That means I only need to pay 18 million. You think you can even take out 18 million? That's hilarious. Swipe the card." As I spoke, I took out a black card and placed it in front of him. The manager stared at the card in disbelief. 18 million. From now on, we have nothing to do with each other. Where did you get this money? The manager demanded, staring at my card. After all, I really hadn't earned much money in the entertainment industry. Where else could it come from? He's got a patron now, Willow interjected casually. Yesterday when I went to pick up Makoto, I just happened to see him getting into a top-spec limited edition Bugatti. David, you're really something. The manager exploded in rage. Back then I asked you to attend banquets and drink with clients, and you refused. Now you turn around and latch onto a rich woman, and suddenly you're flipping the table on me. This is my family's money, I said, genuinely speechless. So you want to be a whore and still build a chastity monument? The manager sneered more and more viciously. If you'd listened to me back then, would you be this washed up now? In the end, you still took this path. I wasted 5 years on you for nothing. Wasted 5 years on me. I raised my voice, no longer holding back, and snapped back. Ever since I refused to be casting couched by that 40 or 50-year-old sugar mommy, you completely ignored me for 5 whole years. The few jobs I had were all negotiated by myself. And you have the nerve to talk about waste. If anyone wasted anything, it was me, wasting myself. Chapter 7. In front of so many people at the company, I didn't give him any face at all. The manager flew into a rage and threatened me loudly. Don't think that just because you've latched onto a patron you can run wild in the entertainment industry. I've been in this business for 20 years. If I want to blacklist someone, it's easy. Then let's wait and see. Seriously, what a joke. The capital tycoon he's desperately sucking up to right now is my own father. Why would I be afraid of him? After terminating my contract with the agency, I left. Willow blocked me again at the entrance. I genuinely didn't understand how thick-skinned a person had to be to show up in front of me so naturally. David, are you trying to offend everyone in the entertainment industry? Willow sneered. You've offended me, offended Makoto, and now offended your agency too, just because you climbed up to the Wang family's eldest daughter. The eldest daughter of the Wang family she was referring to was my sister. David Chan was just my stage name. My real name is George Wang. I took my mother's surname mainly because I didn't want to cause unnecessary trouble in the entertainment industry. Didn't expect me to find out, did you? Seeing that I didn't respond, Willow continued smugly. In the entire Orange City, only the Wang family owns that limited edition Bugatti. And then, I asked indifferently, once you're exposed, do you really think the Wang family would want a notorious, scandal-ridden D-list nobody like you? Of course they would, I replied without hesitation. David, you really overestimate yourself. You think just because you've got a pretty face you can do whatever you want. Elite families aren't as simple as you imagine. And how would you know what elite families think? Makoto comes from an elite family. Of course I know. He comes from an elite family. I actually laughed out loud. If he really did, has he ever taken you into that elite family? We're not at the stage of talking about marriage yet. Willow made an excuse. Right now the whole internet knows how sweet you two are. Even so, you still haven't met Makoto's parents? Makoto's parents are very busy. Do you think everyone is as idle as you? She snapped. Don't you think you're deceiving yourself? I said mockingly. Willow, you've been with Makoto for 3 years. Not 3 days. No matter how busy someone is, they can't spare even half a day in 3 years. I don't need you meddling in my relationship with Makoto, Willow said angrily. Same logic, my business isn't any of yours either. I'm doing this for your own good, Willow said furiously. I sneered. Don't bother wasting that effort. You'd be better off spending more energy on Makoto. Maybe you'll get some unexpected rewards. What do you mean by that? Willow clearly caught the implication. Figure it out yourself. I'm telling you, David, no matter how hard you try, you'll never be able to compare to Makoto. Just his background alone is something you can only dream of. I smiled coldly. Before this, I truly hadn't planned to flaunt my background at all, but at this very moment, I suddenly wanted to see what expression Willow would have when she found out I was the son of the richest man. Let's wait and see. Leaving those words behind, I walked away from Willow. Right now, words meant nothing. She wouldn't believe me anyway. In any case, she'd be getting slapped in the face very soon. Chapter 8. The news of me terminating my contract with the agency was pushed onto the trending charts once again. The comment section was filled with malicious remarks. Weren't you supposed to be inheriting a billion-dollar fortune? And now you get terminated by your agency because of your own big mouth. This is hands down the funniest joke at the start of 2025. I was actually waiting for David to make a comeback against the odds. LMAO. Turns out I overestimated him. He only got a bit of recognition before by clout-chasing Willow. Otherwise who would even know a D-list nobody like him? Now he's trying to ride Makoto's popularity again, and who knew he'd crash and burn? Serves him right. At the same time, Makoto and Willow happened to be doing a New Year fan call-in livestream. Because of my trending topic, their livestream room got a huge influx of traffic. The bullet comments were all urging Makoto and Willow to talk about the news of me inheriting a billion-dollar fortune and getting my contract terminated. Willow was the first to respond. David and I were under the same agency with the same manager. As for him being terminated by the company, there may have been some misunderstanding. It was actually David who voluntarily asked to terminate the contract. The company never treated him unfairly. What? David actually dared to terminate the contract himself? Who would even sign him after that? If an artist terminates voluntarily, shouldn't they pay a breach penalty? Does he even have the money to pay it? I don't know much beyond that. I'm just sharing what I know. I hope everyone won't spread misinformation, Willow said, trying to calm the excited fans. But the fans didn't listen at all. The bullet comments kept scrolling non-stop. Does David have a patron backing him now? Otherwise, where would he get the money to pay the penalty? Forget the penalty. Who does he think he is? Daring to terminate a contract at his level, with his reputation. Who would even dare to use him? Because of Willow's words. The topic #David paid huge termination fee suspected off-having a patron once again shot up the trending charts. I genuinely didn't expect that after quitting the industry, I'd actually go viral. At this point, Makoto also responded to my situation in his live stream. David and I debuted together, and we've worked together a few times before, but we're not close. So I don't really know his family's background. But since he says his family has billions, I don't think it's impossible. The moment Makoto said that, the bullet comments immediately turned into praise again. Makoto's personality is really amazing. Everyone knows David is a fake rich kid, yet Makoto is still willing to believe him. The gap between people is really that huge. Makoto, show us what a real elite family looks like. Can you live stream a tour of your family mansion? That last comment was instantly spammed across the screen. Makoto kept trying to steer the conversation away, pretending he hadn't seen the bullet comments at all. At that moment, Willow, who was connected to the call, suddenly spoke up. Makoto, why don't you fulfill the fans' New Year wish? With Willow putting it so bluntly, Makoto couldn't keep playing deaf anymore. He smiled and said, of course fans' New Year wishes should be fulfilled. Once the time is set, I'll take everyone to visit my home. I watched Makoto's awkward smile. The Wang family of Orange City has never had a son named Makoto. There's only one named Luis, and he's my cousin. I was actually very curious to see how Makoto planned to patch up this century-level lie. Chapter 9. After their live stream ended, I was pushed onto the trending charts, and so was Makoto spoils fans. Promises a mansion tour. The entire internet was eagerly anticipating a tour of Makoto's luxury home. Meanwhile, I had already begun taking over the family business. I became one of the capital bigwigs behind the entertainment industry, investing in several high-profile shows. I was so busy every day that I was completely swamped. I almost forgot about Makoto live streaming a tour of his mansion. If it weren't for Willow smugly messaging me, David, haven't you always been jealous of Makoto and even slandered him? He's live streaming a tour of his mansion today at 3 p.m. Aren't you going to watch? Makoto really had some nerve. I'd thought he would brush it off somehow, but it hadn't even been half a month and he was actually going through with the live stream. Was he not afraid of his image collapsing? Thanks for the reminder. I'll be watching on time, I replied to Willow. Since Willow insisted on throwing herself onto the firing line, I was happy to oblige. I immediately sent a message to my cousin. Your dad doesn't secretly have an illegitimate son, does he? What kind of international joke is this? I've been holding back on Makoto for a long time already. Let's see what kind of trick he's pulling today. If he pisses me off, I'll tear him apart on the spot. Even through the screen, I could feel Luis's anger. At 3 p.m., Makoto showed up in the live stream right on schedule to give fans a tour of his mansion. It was obviously fake at first glance. This was supposed to be the Wang family's home. It looked like some third-rate villa in an unknown location. The moment the live stream went live, fans started mindlessly hyping him up. Wow, Makoto's house is so big and beautiful. Worthy of the Wang family. Top 3 on Orange City's wealth rankings, so lavish. Makoto really was born at the peak of life. This reminds me of some nobody male celebrity who claimed his family had billions to inherit. I worked while watching Makoto's live stream on the side. Watching so many fans flatter him just made it funnier and funnier. Makoto was extremely professional, earnestly guiding fans through his so-called mansion. The fans were very cooperative. The gifts in the live stream were ridiculously extravagant. Makoto thoughtfully asked everyone not to send gifts, then helplessly said that he didn't know how to turn the gift feature off, which once again sparked a wave of fans flooding the chat with messages. Suddenly, my phone rang. It was Willow. She said smugly, David, do you finally see the gap between you and Makoto now? That mansion of his, don't even dream about it in this lifetime. I truly didn't have the patience for her anymore and replied flatly, don't tell me you're still hung up on me. Still hung up on you? Willow scoffed. Look at the gap between you and Makoto. Do you think I'm blind? Then why do you keep clinging to me? I pity you. No need, I said as I glanced at the live stream. You should go pity your idol Makoto instead. After all, the live stream was starting to get unstable. Willow seemed to notice it too and hurriedly hung up the phone. Chapter 10. In Makoto's live stream, someone raised an objection. This isn't the Wang family's mansion in Orange City at all, and there's no one in the Wang family named Makoto. What nonsense are you talking about? Maybe Makoto is just a stage name. If you don't understand, don't pretend you do. Get lost. Someone claiming to be the real young master of the Wang family just posted a video, saying the Wang family has absolutely nothing to do with Makoto. Everyone, hurry and search Orange City Wang family young master. The live stream descended into chaos. The comment section erupted into heated arguments. Makoto panicked and abruptly ended the live stream halfway through. Very soon, news about Makoto allegedly fabricating his identity and impersonating an elite family heir shot to the top of the trending charts. People began digging into the villa Makoto had live streamed. It turned out many influencers had checked in there before. It clearly wasn't a private residence at all, but a rental property put on the market by the owner. After that, many bloggers claiming to know the Wang family's young master in Orange City came forward to debunk Makoto, saying the Wang family had only one young master, named Luis Wang, the account known as Orange City Wang Family Young Master, and that he had absolutely nothing to do with Makoto. They also exposed Makoto's real background. His parents were just ordinary factory workers, and his family background was modest. Even so, countless brainless fans still fiercely defended Makoto, no matter what outsiders said. They insisted Makoto was the Wang family's young master and claimed everyone else was just clout-chasing their idol. They even went to Luis's comment section to hurl abuse. Luis directly issued a lawyer's letter, demanding that Makoto either come forward to clarify the matter or see him in court. The situation completely blew up. Left with no choice, Makoto held a press conference, tearfully claiming that he had never known anything about the Wang family of Orange City and had never said his family was wealthy. He said that when fans wanted to see a mansion, he only did it to satisfy their wishes. Those words all but confirmed that he had nothing to do with the Wang family of Orange City, and they also ignited the fans' anger. Previously, Makoto had never denied his relationship with the Wang family. Now he suddenly claimed complete ignorance. Fans weren't all fools. In an instant, Makoto lost a massive number of followers. Misfortune never comes alone. Soon after, more revelations surfaced, accusing Makoto of using his good looks to engage in casting couch deals, coercion, threats, and shady means to climb his way up. The entertainment industry is just that brutal. When you're popular, everyone flatters you. Once you're knocked down, countless people rush to kick you while you're down. In truth, it wasn't surprising that so many people turned on Makoto. Within the industry, Makoto was notorious for stealing other people's roles. Even back when he first debuted, he stole a role from me. It was said that the very first role that brought him fame had originally been cast as me. Without my knowing anything, he used under-the-table channels to snatch it away. And it wasn't just me, many people in the industry had suffered the same fate. But because everyone believed Makoto was the Wang family's young master of Orange City, they feared the power of capital and didn't dare confront him directly. At the time, I was also focused on boosting Willow's career, and even after learning he had taken my role, I didn't pursue the matter. Still, karma runs its course. Makoto finally got what he deserved. 1 week after Makoto's complete downfall, Willow's agency officially announced to the public that Willow and Makoto had broken up. As soon as the news came out, public opinion toward Willow split sharply. Her loyal fans said Willow had strong values and that it was right for her to distance herself from a low-quality artist. But more people felt that Willow was abandoning him after crossing the river. Makoto got into trouble, and she immediately turned her back on him. Willow's character wasn't much better either. Before Willow's crisis PR could even be properly handled, Makoto suddenly went live, accusing Willow of being cold-blooded and heartless, and even exposing the fact that Willow had once dated me. Chapter 11. Makoto went all out in his live stream, exposing Willow. He said Willow was nothing but a vain, calculating woman that back then, just to be with someone more famous like him, she heartlessly dumped me, the one who had silently stayed by her side. He even claimed that once, when Willow was drunk, she told him that the only reason she'd chased after me in the first place was because she saw me driving luxury cars. She thought I was rich, but later found out I was dirt poor. Now that he had completely fallen from grace, Willow had once again revealed her true colors, turning her back on him without hesitation, showing no regard for past feelings, and even pushing him straight into the abyss. He spoke with righteous indignation, although no one sympathized with him anymore. After all, everything that happened was his own doing. He had indeed dragged Willow down with him. Willow immediately called me, saying urgently, "David, tell the public that I never dated you. I'll give you 5 million. Impossible. I rejected her without the slightest hesitation. I hadn't taken the initiative to tear Willow down because I didn't see the need to waste my energy, but that didn't mean I'd refuse the chance to sit back and enjoy the show. Watching them tear into each other like rabid dogs was incredibly satisfying. Name your price. How much do you want?" Willow gritted her teeth. "If you'd known this would happen, why do what you did back then?" I said calmly. "Willow, before Makoto went after you like this, he must have talked to you first, right?" "What? Didn't you agree to his terms?" I didn't even need to think to know that Makoto and Willow had fallen out, which was why Makoto pulled this stunt. "That man's gone crazy," Willow roared in fury. "He actually asked for 50 million. On what basis does he think he's worth that? Covered in negative scandals like he is. So, too stingy to pay, and now blaming others. 1 million, no, 10 million. Just say we never dated," Willow said viciously. "Impossible." I refused again. "David, don't be ungrateful. 10 million is already an astronomical sum for you. Don't end up like Makoto, with nothing left. You'd better know when to stop." She was actually trying to threaten me at this point. Then let's see who ends up with nothing. I hung up immediately after saying that, and blocked Willow. Keeping her contact information was nothing but an insult. I thought Willow would crash and burn right along with Makoto, but unexpectedly, early the next morning, it was me who got pushed onto the trending charts. The topic was, David's backer suspected to be the daughter of the richest man. The news included photos of me getting into a car with my sister. Judging from the angle, it was obvious they'd been taken that day by Willow, which meant this news was leaked by Willow herself. Her goal was to use my scandal to suppress her own negative publicity, a classic entertainment industry PR tactic. Willow really did love destroying herself. My sister was furious. George, what exactly are you enduring? When people accused you of pretending to be a rich kid before, Dad already said we should make your identity public. You said no, that you wanted to keep a low profile. But now they're writing all over us. Can you still endure this? I wasn't really enduring it. I just wanted to focus wholeheartedly on building my career first. Once my business was firmly established, my identity would naturally come to light. There was no need for unnecessary moves. But now, Willow had truly crossed my bottom line. I'm done enduring, I said coldly. And this time, I'm going to make sure Willow dies an ugly death. Chapter 12. As soon as the trending topic about me having a patron went up, Willow's agency immediately bought another trending topic favorable to her. #Willow to collaborate with director Wu on the annual S+ mega production TV drama War Chariot. Coming next year. They really spared no expense to protect Willow, pulling out every trick to divert public attention. But if I remembered correctly, that drama hadn't even finalized its female lead yet. It was just that Willow's agency believed her competitiveness was very strong, basically a done deal. What they didn't know was that the behind-the-scenes investor of that drama was me. I had never planned to let Willow act in it. In fact, every artist under my former agency had already been put on my blacklist. Now, it was time for me to strike back. Using my officially verified account, I left a comment under the trending post released by Willow's agency. At present, the female lead for this drama has not yet been finalized. Please do not guide public opinion arbitrarily. The moment my comment appeared, it was instantly swarmed by fans. Are you kidding me? Back to clout chasing our Willow again, aren't you? Who do you think you are to say the role isn't decided? This is hilarious. A washed-up D-lister actually dares to say something like this. Did everyone forget? He's got a patron now. Of course he's bold. Attention-seeking trash. So disgusting. I had already blocked Willow, so she couldn't call me. Her manager called instead and immediately started cursing. David, are you insane? Since when is Willow's work any of your business? What? Regretting the contract termination and trying to grab some attention now? Before I could even speak, Willow grabbed the phone and shouted at me. Regretting not clearing things up for me now? I warned you long ago to know when to stop. That 10 million is gone. Serves you right. Fine. The manager cut in again. Delete the comment now and clarify that you never dated Willow. Out of humanitarian concern, I'll give you 5 million. I laughed. Save it and buy more trending topics for your Willow. David, don't be so ungrateful. I hung up directly. At the same time, under my comment, the official account of the drama's production team liked my comment and replied, the female lead of this drama has indeed not been finalized, and we will not consider collaborating with Willow. The moment that comment dropped, the comment section exploded. What's going on? Didn't they say it was already secured? A last-minute change. The production team liked David's comment and openly supported him. Who exactly is he? Could it be that David's patron really is the Wang family's eldest daughter? Upstart much. Are you deliberately taking revenge on our Willow? Give the role back to her. Once I started responding, my family finally couldn't sit still anymore. The official account of Wang Group left a comment under mine. David's real name is George Wang, the lawful heir of Wang Group. He is currently responsible for Wang Group's entertainment industry investment projects and is the producer of War Chariot. Immediately after, my sister commented, little brother, I told you long ago to come home and inherit the family business. What's so fun about the entertainment industry? Luis also joined in. Cousin, they say play actor are heartless. You should stay far away from them and come back to us. Play actor was obviously a jab at Makoto and Willow. The comment section instantly went insane. Holy crap, David really does have billions to inherit. So we all misunderstood David. He really comes from an elite family. Makoto was the real liar. Looking back at that live stream interview now, the host and Makoto are such a joke. How did they even dare to mock David? If Willow really dumped David for Makoto, then everything she's suffering now is just karma for being a cheating woman. Who was it that said they'd live stream themselves eating shit if David really had billions to inherit? Come on out now. My public image reversed instantly. Chapter 13. #breaking. David really has billions to inherit. #. Willow's face slapped swollen. Dropped a watermelon for a sesame seed. #. War Chariot confirms no collaboration with Willow. Agency may face defamation compensation. #. Countless trending topics pushed my reputation and Willow's into complete polar opposites. Willow's character collapsed across the board. First came Makoto tearing her apart with revelations in his live stream. Then came me publicly debunking the fabricated rumors about her landing a role. Now, she had even become a joke in the entertainment industry. People laughed at how she had clearly picked up a treasure, only to lose it out of vanity and opportunism, ending up with nothing but trouble. For a long time, neither Willow nor her agency made any response. Her work ground to a near standstill. Finally unable to hold on any longer, Willow came to see me. She arrived at my company, together with her manager. How the tables turn. I suddenly thought of the scene when I had gone to terminate my contract. David, I'm sorry, Willow said, her eyes red-rimmed, looking like she was about to cry. I almost laughed. Did she really think I hadn't spent time in this industry? Who would ever believe an actor's tears? You were right. I kept clinging to you because I still had feelings for you back then. The reason I ended up with Makoto was because he came after me relentlessly. I had no choice but to break up with you, Willow said, looking at me with watery eyes. Can you forgive me? No. I rejected her without a second's hesitation. David, I swear I'll be devoted to you from now on. Give me one more chance. Okay, let's start over, Willow pleaded, her voice full of emotion. I can testify that Willow being with Makoto was indeed because Makoto used underhanded tactics. David, just trust Willow this once. The manager cut in. I laughed again. With your kind of character, you actually have the nerve to testify. Do you really think I don't know that it was your idea to have Willow fake a ship with Makoto back then? Yes, him, Willow immediately said, trying to shift the blame. It takes two to tango, I said flatly. If you didn't agree, how could he possibly have succeeded? He threatened me, Willow argued desperately. He said that if I didn't get with Makoto, all my work would be suspended. On top of Makoto using tricks, I was forced into it. David, believe me. The manager's expression changed instantly. He clearly hadn't expected Willow to sell him out just to win my forgiveness. David, I really had no choice, Willow said earnestly, her emotions surging. If you don't like me staying with this agency, I can terminate my contract immediately. From now on, I'll stay by your side. You can be my manager, okay? Willow, you really can't be this ungrateful, the manager snapped. Over this period, he'd nearly fallen out with the company just to protect Willow, pouring in countless resources, and now she was truly burning the bridge once she'd crossed it. I've made you plenty of money over the years, we're even. Besides, I've long disliked the way you do things, especially how you treated David. I'd already decided not to renew my contract with you once it expired. Why you? The manager was so angry he couldn't even speak. Willow didn't care at all. She just looked at me again with deep affection. David, for you, I'm willing to do anything. Really? I asked with a smile. Willow nodded eagerly. She thought I was about to soften. Then get as far away as possible, I said slowly and clearly, and never appear in front of me again. Willow's face collapsed instantly. David, she asked, her voice trembling. What do I have to do for you to forgive me? Chapter 14. What makes you think I'd forgive you no matter what you do? I found it ridiculous. Stop pretending. We've been broken up for 3 years, and you haven't dated anyone else. Isn't that just you waiting for me to come back? Willow said shamelessly. I was honestly about to throw up. I didn't date because I hadn't met the right person. What did that have anything to do with Willow? How thick-skinned does someone have to be to say something this disgusting? David, seeing that I didn't respond for a moment, Willow thought she'd hit the mark. She grew bolder and stepped forward, reaching out to grab my hand. I didn't even have time to dodge. Ah! Willow suddenly screamed, because her hand had been grabbed tightly by someone else. Why you? Let go of me! Willow shouted, her face turning red as she looked at the person in front of her. Anna shoved Willow away, sending her stumbling back several steps. Who are you? Willow snapped furiously. George's fiancé, Anna said, standing beside me and asserting her claim without hesitation. Willow's eyes instantly turned bloodshot. She stared at me in disbelief. My fiancé, Anna Sue, the eldest daughter of the Sue Group. We're well matched, and we'll be getting married by the end of the year, I said calmly. Then I looked at Willow with open mockery. So, do you still think I've been waiting for you to change your mind? Willow's face flushed red, then pale. I'd rather wait for the right person than settle for trash. Do you think everyone's as unable to stand loneliness as you are? I continued mercilessly. David, if you hadn't hidden your family background from me back then, things wouldn't have ended up like this. Willow snapped in frustration. You were the one who was greedy and vain. How do you have the nerve to blame me now? I laughed coldly. I spared your pride back then, and you repaid me by biting back. Do you really think you got favored by capital because of your so-called talent? I was the one helping you behind the scenes. If I didn't spell it out, she'd just keep pushing her luck. What? Willow didn't respond, but her manager looked shocked. Didn't she say she got everything on her own? That capital only recognized her? I snorted, utterly disdainful, and didn't bother explaining further. The manager had been in the industry for years. Once he thought it through, he immediately realized something was off. Sensing danger, Willow hurriedly said, I became popular because of my own strength. Capital was just a platform. Forget whether you could have made it without the platform. The manager cut in sharply. Right now, your image has already collapsed. Without capital backing you, a comeback is nothing but a pipe dream. Don't even talk about not renewing with me. I wouldn't sign you again even if you begged. With that, the manager turned and walked away, clearly having seen reality for what it was. There was no way I'd ever get back together with Willow. She defended me, completely crashed and burned, and on top of that was ungrateful beyond saving. Watching her manager leave, Willow finally panicked. She clenched her teeth and turned back toward me, wanting to say something, but Anna stepped directly in front of me. David, I've already gone this far. If you're still acting so high and mighty, then there's absolutely no chance between us anymore. Willow tried to threaten me one last time. See yourself out, I replied, cold to the bone. Willow stormed off in fury. What kind of taste did you have to fall for her? Anna said. Speechless, blind, I replied, just as exasperated. Thinking back on everything I'd done for Willow back then made me feel as sick as if I'd eaten shit. But at least it's cured now, I added. Anna laughed. I had to admit, Anna's figure, looks, temperament, and character were all things Willow could never compare to. Suddenly, I felt a bit grateful that Willow had been a cheating woman. Otherwise, I would have never met Anna. Chapter 15. After that, Willow still came looking for me again and again. At first, she still had some pride left. Gradually, she became utterly humble. I heard that her agency had terminated her contract. She couldn't land a single job and was also facing huge compensation claims. Of course, I didn't soften. Every consequence she faced was brought on by herself. There was no reason for me to pay the bill for her mistakes. Later on, when Willow finally realized that I truly wanted nothing to do with her anymore, she stopped pretending altogether. She said she had private photos of me and demanded $100 million to buy them. A dog really can't stop eating shit. Even after falling this far, she still hadn't learned her lesson. Without a second thought, I exposed all of our chat records and call recordings to the media, and also filed a report with the police. Willow's farce finally came to an end. Along with it came her complete ruin, her reputation shattered, her character exposed, and her total exile from the entertainment industry. At the end of the year, Anna and I held our wedding as scheduled. Hashtag Powerful Families United. Wang Group's young master marries Su Group's heiress. Hashtag shot to the top of the trending charts. Following closely behind were hashtag Willow cried and collapsed in the bathroom. Hashtag most tragic figure of the year. Willow. Hashtag I received blessings from across the internet and gained a massive wave of new fans. Willow, on the other hand, was mocked relentlessly, utterly miserable. Some fans asked me in the comments whether I was satisfied with Willow's current downfall. I had never intended to take revenge on her. Everything I did was simply about protecting my own life and my own happiness. As for how she ended up now, I replied under the comment, those who've passed through my life are merely passers-by. Why waste your life on people who aren't worth it? The beauty of life lies in holding on to faith and courage in love, and growing toward the light.